legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before it all fades to black. Yes, it's your girl Cadillac. Anyways, I'm coming through. Today is January the 6th, 2024. I got the date right. I usually say 2023, girl. That's gone. But today is going to be my first draw and review of 2024. Okay, and I got a good one for you today. But first, I want to show you what my daughter bought me. Yes, this is so nice. My daughter bought this for me. And she wanted to, she said, Mom, you gotta get back to your art. I've been very disencouraged. I love to say it like that because this little older lady used to say, don't be disencouraged. And I like how she broke it down because it's really discouraged. But when you break it down, it's disencouraged. And that's exactly what discouragement is, disencouragement, right? So this easel, I don't know why she left the thing on there, girl. She should have took it off, but it's a gift purpose. You're supposed to take that off, girl. But it was $50, but now it is $24.99. I love this setup. This is a big easel. I barely could get this in my car. Now, y'all know how I go to the park and draw. This would be good, but it's not really travel size. It's hard to get it in and out of my car, and it doesn't fit in my trunk, really. Well, maybe if I clean the trunk out. Maybe I got too much junk in my trunk, girl. But we'll see. But it comes with a canvas, and then it has all these acrylic paints and some brushes. Okay, but today we're going to be doing pencils, so we're not going to be using that. But I'm going to just open this. First, let's get started with the video we are going to be reviewing. This is a good one. I was listening to this, like if you watched my last video, you know that I woke up very disencouraged. And this is exactly where the Lord led me to this video, and it made me feel a lot better. So hopefully this, if you are disencouraged like your girl about this, you're like, girl, I thought this was my year, but this feels like 2000. This feels like 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. This feels like 2010, girl. This feels like 2015, 20, 21, 22, and 23. Like, girl, where is the change that has been, like everybody talking about this is my year, but what? This feels like the same old year. When is my breakthrough coming? And this video came across my algorithm, and I love it. So here we go. This is DruTube, God's Chosen Vessels. Okay, don't focus on what God is giving everyone else. Pay close attention to what the Father is giving you. Okay, so let's play it, girl. And I'm going to open that, and we're going to start drawing.
What's the deal? It's your main man, DruTube, and I'm back at you again with another video. I need each and every vessel to hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe. Shout out to the Galactic family, the GCVs, and Drew Nation. Let's get right into it. Don't focus on what God is giving everyone else. Pay close attention to what the Father is doing for you. When you focus on the things that everyone else has, you are communicating to God that you want lack in your life because you're not focusing on the things that He's doing for you. You're not giving God His just dues. You're not giving God gratitude. And it happens. We're all guilty of it.
Okay, so I love that he says that he's acknowledging that everyone goes through this, which I like that, because when you usually go through something hard in life, people make you feel like it's just you. You go through that because what's told to me is you're just so negative. If you think more positive things will happen. But see, in my case, when I think more positive, negative happens. And when I think more negative happens. So it's almost like no matter what I do, I get the negative result, or it's perceived in my eyes to be negative. So we know all things do work together for our good. So for me, maybe I just don't see the good that's coming from it. But the reason, I'm gonna tell you the true reason why I get to looking around at others, it's because I have been on this path for a long time. I have been a person that has been trying for what they want for a long time now. Long time coming. Y'all know that song, it's been a long, y'all know I can't sing. Long time coming. I've been coming for a long time. I have been working hard for a long time. I'm telling you, since I was a child, I have really been working hard. And y'all know one of my biggest things that I've had to work hard on, okay, so that's the little leg there, is trying to put my family back together. Y'all know when my family first started, it was destroyed. It was ripped apart before we could even be a family. Does this adjust up and down? Oh, it does, yes. But before we can even become a family, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it slides up and down. My husband was taken. My husband was wrongfully convicted. He was wrongfully arrested when he was 19, 2 months after giving birth to our daughter. And then he was taken away, wrongfully convicted by the time he was 20. I was 21. So from 21 years old, I am now 42. So you do the math. That's over 20 years. I have been fighting to put my family back together. And I do it through art, through music. I have some God-given talents. These aren't some average talents that you see that everybody has. I have God-given talents. But no matter how good my talents are, nobody ever takes notice. Nobody supports anything that I do. And it tends to feel like I'm doing it all for nothing. And it's like, and it's not that it's not jealousy of the next person. It's, when is my time ever coming? Like I've clearly, y'all know I love analogies. I'm an artist. I used to be a rapper. Those are metaphors when you turn them into music. You could do it through art by drawing one thing, but it has a whole different meaning. So y'all know I love analogies. And my analogy is like standing in line. It's okay to stand in line. Oh, God. One of my prison wives had the best analogy. It was like in Beetlejuice when they got to the afterlife and they pulled this number and it was so far down. Oh, these are Money sketches. That was when Money was trying to draw our granddaughter. That is so beautiful. Oh, that's her braids. She said she was gonna draw her every week or something. My daughter got talent too. But that's how long it feels like I've been waiting. And everybody, it feels like even people that got in the line after me, prison wives that became prison wives, and not to be shady, but their husbands are guilty of their crimes, they get out before my husband. Their stories get noticed before my husband. And it's not like, you know, they're doing as much as I'm doing. They're not. Nobody is sitting up here, oh gosh, she's getting really good. Nobody else is sitting up here doing all this music, doing all this artwork, reaching all these people, making all these videos, all this content on YouTube. If y'all look at my YouTube is quite depressing because I have almost 5,000 videos and I'm still not monetized. I mean, who do you see have 5,000 videos? You don't see that. Even the monetized YouTubers, you don't see them with 5,000 videos. And I'm still nowhere near monetized. Since I've been on TikTok, I have been consistently posting every day. and my TikTok is growing slower than anybody's TikTok. You could probably start a TikTok and a YouTube tomorrow, and you will make it way before I do. So that is what the looking at others from me come from. It's like, hey, like what happened? Did I get passed up in line? Is my time ever coming? It's not really saying that I don't want you to make it. It's like, dang, where is my time? When is my portion? And that's what it feels like. It feels like, oh, okay, well, it starts to feel like, well, maybe God just forgot you. That's what it feels like. That's the truth about it. And I'm glad that he is saying that without, beating the person up for feeling that way, because these are real honest feelings.
We're all guilty of it.
Thank you.
Sometimes when things aren't going in our lives how they're supposed to go, we see everything else working out for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Oh, let me say
Some
this
people
one
are
thing.
even nosy and all.
It feels like the devil makes sure, that comes from the devil, I believe. He makes sure, it's almost like he makes you, look who's being blessed and you're not. Like you trying to focus on yourself. Look, they're being blessed and you're not. And then you try to focus on yourself. Look, they're being blessed and you're not. That's what I think that is. And I rebuke that.
Just and bodacious enough to try to make you feel bad about what you don't have. But here's the thing. Don't focus on what God is doing for them.
It's hard.
Bless them. When you see other people doing things that you would want, videos started with nothing.
And it's not that you don't want to see other people make it. It's just you want to make it as well. So I'm not the type that, though I don't make it, I get down on other people. I'm not like that.
Or not necessarily that you would want. When you see other people blessed in certain areas and you would like to be blessed in that area, you bless those people.
Let's find a picture of him.
You say, thank you, God, for allowing me to see somebody else succeed. Because God's going to be like, aha, yes, that's my son. That's my daughter. And also when you bless other people, you subconsciously communicate to God that you're saying, hey, that's for me. But make sure, right? Make sure, and this is why it's important to focus on what God is doing for you. Make sure it's something that you actually want. Because just because you see other people doing it, just because that's the way other people are getting theirs and becoming successful, doesn't mean that that's what God has in store for you. And that's why it's important to focus on what the Father is doing for you. It's difficult at times. It's hard at times. Because you see everything working out for everyone else. And you're wondering when yours is going to come. But the thing is, you have to be patient.
Give me a moment.
Because
I'm trying to
you
find
have to
a
be
picture.
so tight with God. You have to be working on your connection with God so well. And you have to make it so good that you know in due time
until he gets in a nice
that something is going to happen for you. You're going to have an opportunity for success for you. You're going to have an opportunity for you to win. You're going to have an opportunity for you to shine. You're going to have an opportunity for you to get on your grind. And just because you're not doing what everybody else is doing, just because the way
trying to find a good still shot.
Go.
Give me a moment, John.
Doesn't mean that what you're doing won't lead you to the same result, the same success. But the thing is, other people put people down. So-and-so isn't doing this. So isn't doing that. You know, so-and-so ain't got that. So-and-so, they don't do what we do.
I can't get no good picture.
So the thing is,
you don't have
society
any
will try
like
to paint
community posts or anything? Let's see. Let's go to his channel. Does he have any image like still shots of himself. Nope, not so far. I'm not seeing that. Oh, here's one. There we go. We'll use that picture. There we go. Well, let me scroll down and see if there's any other ones. Okay, so not really seeing that. So let's just go with this one because we got to get this moving. I was supposed to did this like 2 hours ago, girl. Okay, so I screenshot it. Now I'm going to crop it so that I can start to draw this picture. And we're going to finish listening to him. This is a very good video. I'm going to link it in the description box after the live is over.
About to be a bad person. They'll try to paint a picture in your mind that you're not doing enough or you're not good enough. But you have to focus on what God is doing for you. Because you can't get caught up in what everybody else is doing. Not everybody else.
They'll try to make you, people do make you feel like that. Like when they do make it and you're like, oh, you know, how did you do that? What can I do? They just make it seem as though you're not working as hard as they are. And that's why you didn't make it. And if you just work harder, and honestly, I don't even know a way I could work harder. To be honest, I think I need to work a little less. It's looking like people that do less get more. But they'll try to make you feel that way. Like you're just not doing enough. That's why you're not receiving a blessing.
Is meant to do the same thing as everybody else. And the thing is, when other people are getting opportunities and it seems like you may not be getting your shot or your opportunity, it can feel like everybody else is getting ahead except for you. It can feel like everybody else is getting a chance.
And that's how I feel. So he's hitting the head on the nail. And he looks to be quite young, much younger than me. I'm 42, about to be 43 this year. And like I said, have been grinding more than half my life. I started drawing when I was 9 years old. And I started drawing people at 11. I have been pursuing art as my career. I don't want to work anymore. I want to be a full-time artist, entrepreneur, content creator, and I'm a graphic designer. But it's been really hard for me to get out of having to work 9 to 5 because none of those things provide for me like this constant working does. And I look over my life, I'm like, if I've worked this hard and have not achieved by 42, which is 30 something years, if it's taken 30 something years to get only about that much leeway, before I break through, how many more years would it take? If it's going to take another 30 of my years, do I even have 30 more years to get to that point? You know, that's kind of where my mindset is kind of at right now. Like, it's people way younger than me that are making it just like this. And it's like, when? Like, if it's not now, then when? Because, you know, past that halfway mark of life, most likely. And I'm sorry to sound like that. Y'all probably just gonna say it's because you're negative. I know that's pretty much what I've heard all my life. It's because I'm negative. Okay. We're about to start. I'm just trying to get past this ad. See, me, I'm transparent. If you follow my journey, if you relate to anything I go through, I used to hate those stories about artists that you would ask the question, like, what if you did make it? And they'll tell you something like, oh, I just always knew I was going to make it. Like, okay, I always knew I was going to make it too. But when you are in those discouraged moments, how do you feel? Do you ever feel this low? If you say no, I can't relate to you. I give you the real. If when I'm feeling up, I give you the real about that. If I'm feeling down and discouraged, I give you the real about that too.
Is getting a chance and you're not. And that can play with your mind, especially when you're trying to do something similar.
Okay.
Especially when you're like, wait a minute, when am I going to get my blessing? When am I going to get my shot? When's my opportunity going to come?
Never.
You may already have your shot. You may already have your opportunity. It might be staring at you right dead in the face. And that's why you have to focus on what the Father is doing for you. If you see things happening for everybody else, and it may appear that things aren't happening for you, maybe you have something different going on. Maybe you're supposed to be doing something different. Maybe your way to go about what everybody else is doing is different. Maybe it's not the same way. Not everybody has to do the same thing. If somebody goes out to eat and they eat versus somebody staying home and cooking a meal, did those people still both eat today? Yes, they did. Somebody went out to eat. Somebody got some food brought to them. Somebody ordered out. Somebody may have, went on an app and got something to eat. You decided to make you a home cooked meal. All right? That home cooked meal, just because it's a home cooked meal, just because you made it, just because you put it together, doesn't mean you're still not going to eat, doesn't mean you still didn't eat. So you can't focus on what everybody else is doing. You have to pay close attention to what the Father is doing for you. What God might be doing for you might be better than what they have going on for themselves. They may be super satisfied with what they have. They may be doing well with what they have, but you have to be patient and wait on God. Just because it doesn't seem like you're not doing that well right now, or you're not where you want to be right now, doesn't mean because of what you're doing, or you're taking a different route, or you're doing it a different way, it doesn't mean that you're not still going to get there. So you have to focus on what God is doing for you, instead of focusing on what everyone else has, because that's going to cause you to worry. That's going to cause you to fear.
True.
That's going to cause you to focus on what you don't have, which is going to cause you to focus on lack.
True.
It's going to cause you to focus on what you can't do. And that's non-productive. That's unproductive. That's not worrying about what other people have. First of all, worrying is not going to solve any of your problems. Focusing on what other people have, focusing on what other people are doing, is not going to solve any of your problems. It's going to turn you into a busybody, and it's going to make you think that you don't have something when you really do. It's going to make you think that you're not getting ahead when you really are. It's going to make you think that you don't have anything that you can do.
Wait a minute.
When you actually do. It might be staring at you right in the face. So when you focus on yourself, when you focus on what you can do versus what you can't do, that's being productive. There's always something that you can do to be productive. You have to figure out what that thing is, and it might be staring at you right in the face. Just because other people have put you down for it, just because other people have looked down on you for it,
they
could possibly be jealous.
God.
Somebody may
They sure do look down on me. They like, when my husband first got wrongfully convicted, girl, everybody, the response, girl, you just leave him. Number one, it took me decades to get people to even believe that he was wrongfully convicted. Decades. And then they're like, just leave. Like, how in the heck do you just leave someone this is not someone I just met on, TikTok or something, or in some dating app that on Black People Meet or something like that. This is somebody that is my soulmate. We share a child together. They stole our family life. And these usually is people that tell me this that are sitting up and have their own family. They tell me just leave my husband, but they have their husband. So that means if you love your husband and your husband gets wrongfully convicted, your advice would be good for you too. You're really just going to leave your husband, or are you going to fight for your husband? If I were your friend and your husband was wrongfully convicted, I would not tell you to leave him. I would tell you to fight for him. And guess what? I would help you fight. I would do all that I can as your friend, as your family, to help you fight that battle until you see him come home. But people look down on me. I know I look really stupid. I've been on Facebook since Facebook started, and I have been advocating for my husband's story for that long. All my family, they ignore my posts. They won't like it. They won't share it. They won't nothing. All the people that I thought were friends, like I have a handful that helped me, but as many people as I thought really supported me, they don't. I've learned that people really do not support you like that. And to make it, though I am a loner, I've always been a loner, but unfortunately, this situation and growing my business as an artist, I cannot do alone. I need the support of someone else. And I always beg my family to just support me until I can support myself. Once I make it, you won't have to support me. But guess what? If you were my family doing something, I would support you whether not. Just because I love you, I would support you. But people don't offer the same branch to me.
Stopping you from entering into your calling. Somebody may be stopping you from working on your talent or your gift because they may not have a talent or a gift, and you're focused on their way, and that's all they got.
Hey, before you skip this ad.
Oh yes, Latoya Okia. I was gonna skip that ad, but I love you, girl. We gonna listen to
I
you.
can help you grow spiritually. In this ad, I'm going to do two things. Number one, I'm going to tell you how you can move your life forward by tapping into your spirituality. And number two, I'm going to give you something pretty cool for free if you stick with me to the end. So let me make good on my first promise. There is a new way of life that is available for you, baby. A life of purpose, a life of overflow, a life of safety and security, regardless of what's going on in the world. The best part is you've been carrying all of this around on the inside. And in order to unlock this power that's within you, you got to change how you think and you got to change what you say. And you're going to see miracles unfold in your life. Now that I've made good on my first promise, I want to give you access to my new training, 6 Steps to Business and Spiritual Growth. All you got to do is hit the button somewhere on this video, sign up, and you're going to get the training instantly. I have helped hundreds of thousands of people achieve their goals, and I know I can help you too. Hit the link below, and I'll see you in the training.
Okay. Now, there's another ad. We ain't finna listen to that one. We just did that for Miss Latoya Okia. I love her, girl. That's another good one, chosen one.
If you were to go out and do what they did, you would have a lot of things that you could do. You would have so many things that you could possibly do. But maybe you're supposed to be focused on what you have, what God gave you. Maybe you're supposed to be putting all your time and energy into that. You're supposed to be focused on what God is doing for you, not what God is doing for other people. If you focus on what God is doing for you, you're going to start to see your blessing. You're going to start to see what's going good in your life. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to feel motivated to keep going. You're not going to be depressed. You're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to see things working out for you. you're going to see that, wait a minute, I was worried about the wrong things the whole entire time. Instead of focusing on what this one can do and what that one can do and what everybody else is getting, I should have been focused on me and what I could have been doing for myself the whole entire time. So most of the time, what you can do for yourself is better than what somebody else can do for you. Especially if it's God-oriented, if it has something to do with God. If it's a gift he gave you, if it's a talent he gave you, it's going to be better than what someone else can do for you. You just may have to be patient. Things take time. They don't happen as soon as you want it to happen. And just because something doesn't happen as soon as you want it to happen.
I do know it takes time, but you got to know how long I've been doing this. And for the person that have been waiting, it's almost like Abraham's story and Sarah. I'm sure there are people that were praying for children, and they could have been born way after Abraham and Sarah prayed for children and got those children, received those children, and they were still sitting there waiting for their promise. Now, you gonna tell me you wouldn't get discouraged after that long of waiting? Now, they were well up in their age when that promise was fulfilled. But if you be truthful, you would look around and be like, hold on, who pregnant? I love you, congratulations, but Lord, when? I'm old now. And when Sarah heard that she was gonna have a child, she was like, who fits to have a child now? I'm up in age and my husband old. That's just like me, who I was believing for another child. But I'm 42 now, my husband's still locked up behind bars. And if you were to be honest, see, that's the thing. That's why a lot of people can't follow y'all testimony, because y'all ain't being 100% honest. Y'all just sugarcoating it. Y'all telling me the highlights. It's like the reels, the Instagram reels version of your testimony. Tell me that testimony when you were deep in the thick of it and when you thought you could not go on another day. That testimony is what can help me through. Not your Instagram highlight reels testimony.
If something doesn't happen as soon as you want it to happen, doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to live a good life or a productive life or have a successful life. Don't worry about what everybody has going on right now. That's them. Who's to say that if you don't keep it up, if you don't keep going, you're not going to be in a positive space? And I know that it feels weird when people are looking at you funny. I know it feels weird when you see other people doing things and you feel like you're being left behind.
Thank you.
You feel like life is
That's what I need to hear.
You feel like you're not doing enough. But if you're doing something, if you're working on yourself, if you're improving yourself, if you're working on your craft, taking it seriously, turning it into a business, turning it into something that can become financially successful for you, you are doing something. You're a dreamer. You're a believer.
I definitely have.
There's nothing wrong with being a dreamer. There's nothing wrong with being a believer. Dreamers and believers are some of the most innovative people that the world will ever see. But the people who go out and do what everybody else is doing, those people like to put the dreamers down. They like to put the believers down. All right? People have beef with people who believe in themselves because you're awakening something in you that is lying dormant in the people who are going out and allowing somebody else to do something for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, they try to put you down for believing in yourself. So if they can look at you a certain way,
support you.
there's a two sides to that coin here. So just because they have something going on, it doesn't give them the right to look down on you. It doesn't give them the right to try to play you. It doesn't give them the right to try to make you feel bad about yourself. And on the flip side of that, don't you start to feel self-conscious. Don't you start to doubt yourself. Don't you worry yourself because you may not be able to do the same thing as everybody else. Maybe you're not meant to do the same thing as everybody else. Maybe you're not meant to be over there. Maybe you're meant to be over here. When you try to go over there and do things, it may not work out. But when you go over here and do your thing, if you put the same amount of time and energy that you would put into what you can do for somebody else, if you put that same time and energy into what you can do for yourself, you can have something. You'll be like the person
Now that is the
they're going to.
I had to cut off a lot of those relationships where you were doing. I was just doing for them. And I always felt like, and then at the end, they'll say I didn't do anything for them, or that they've done just as much. I've done just as much for you as you've done for me. But I haven't seen you all constantly every day helping me out. But they will tell you that they've done just as much for you. Girl, I did just as much for you as you've done for me. So we just even. When you know you every day jumping up to their beck and call, now those relationships there will stop you from what you need to do. And I always felt like if the energy that I was giving others, the support, the help, the care that I was giving others, if I just gave it to myself, I probably would have achieved my dreams, their dreams, and every other person's dreams. So a lot of it is I have to get my time back. And I'm in the process of that now. Breaking those time-consuming relationships, one-sided relationships where you pour into, and then you ask for just a couple of drops poured back into you, or you get those couple of drops and then they call you even. We're not even. You haven't poured a gallon into me like I've poured gallons into you. You pour drops into me. So we're not equal. It's not an equal 50-50 relationship. But those will deplete you and they will stop you from what you need to be doing in your life. And I learned that the hard goddamn way, girl.
You'll be like the person who owns the place that they're going to. And there's nothing wrong with them doing what they're doing to provide for themselves and take care of themselves and to become successful. But the thing is, because you believe in yourself, they have beef with you because there's something that you're activating. There's something that you're turning on. There's something that you're waking up. There's something that you're cultivating. There's something that you're believing in. There's something that you're putting all the time and energy that you could possibly put into yourself. And that takes guts. All right, that takes courage. That takes confidence. People are afraid to do that. You're not playing it safe. All right, they will try to make you feel like you're gambling. They'll try to make you feel like the odds are stacked against you. But so what?
You know what? He reminds me of two people. Okay, so I'm an artist, so I look at people's features all the time. Even I'm actually a server at a restaurant. But I in my mind am an artist, a graphic designer, a rapper, a spoken word poet. I am all of those things in my mind. But in actuality, I am a server, right? But when people come up in my line and stuff, I always look at their features. I'm just a person that looks at everybody's features because I am an artist. An artist always takes notice of God's artwork. People, the way they are created, the way they smile, the way they look, that's all God's art. That's his art. And I always admire God's art. So I always look at people's features. So for me, he reminds me of two different people. He reminds me of, do y'all remember that rapper B.O.B.? He reminds me of him, and he also reminds me of Jordan the Chosen One.
You know how many odds have been stacked against people in history and they still won? People looked at Barack Obama like he was crazy.
Civil rights movement.
Like that, but I know that people could say he didn't do anything for black people. People could say that he only did, he was a bad president. People could say whatever they want about him. But the thing about this is, whether you're black, white, invisible, or out of sight, when you look at people who do things that are not necessarily the status quo, that should open up something in your mind. And all of us could take something from Barack Obama. All of us could take something from somebody that has done something that was unconventional, or has done something that nobody thought they would be able to make it. You know how many people did something to where people straight up told them, you're gonna lose. That is not gonna work and you're not going to make it.
Project Reach the World.
Started with nothing.
Project Reach the World is not gonna make it. You are never gonna free your husband through drawing some old crusty art. And you ain't gonna never free your husband with your little dry raps thinking you're a female rapper.
Those people still went out on a limb and they still believed in themselves, and they still became successful as a result of that. All the people who told them that they couldn't do it, they'd never be successful, you're never gonna make it. They tried to make you think you was never gonna make it.
There are two people. Valentino Dixon freed himself by his artwork. Freed himself from a wrongful conviction of 27 years through his artwork. Mr. Wash freed himself from a 22-year wrongful conviction through his artwork. And he is a full-time artist now. Not having to go hit nobody during clock, not having to put his best energy, best talents, best everything into a corporation, and you barely get any of yourself back. You barely get enough to even pay your bills. Like I said, I bring food to people's table and barely able to provide to bring food to my own table. Like, that is not the existence I want. I want to spend my life creating. I was given these gifts from God, and that's what I want to spend my life doing.
But they didn't know who you had backing you. They don't know who you had supporting you. You may not get support from this one. You may not get support from that one. People may call you crazy. People may think, yo, this person is nuts. They ain't never going to make it. This person ain't never going to make it out that room. This person ain't never going to make it up out that house. This person ain't never going to make it up out their situation. But that's their projection. That's their idea.
I have never left my husband for 22 years. I've been fighting. Just about April will be 22 years. I have been by his side. We raised our child through prison visits. Do you know that makes me look really crazy? And I'm still, that crazy girl, still believing her husband gonna come home. Like, I look really, really silly out here in these streets. But I'm just waiting on the Lord to just vindicate and to bring me back, even to where I would be amazed. Because at first I seen it. I knew it was gonna happen. I seen it. But there's somewhere along the line, with everybody else doubting, I started doubting along with everyone. Like, what does the evidence show? Y'all know I'm into to law and all of that. But what does the evidence show in my life? Does the evidence show that I am going to win? Or does the evidence show that I'm losing? That I wasted the last 20-something years trying to break his story of being wrongfully convicted and excessively sentenced in the state of Florida. The evidence is showing it looks like I wasted my life, the good part of my life. But God, we'll just see how it plays out.
That's their false narrative. That's the reality that they're trying to create for you. Don't let them do it. Don't let people's negative ideas haunt your mind. Don't let people's negative ideas run rampant in your mind. Who are you listening to? Because God says, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. God said, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. God says, I can do what Jesus did and greater. So who are you believing? Are you believing man just because he's right in front of you? He has some things. He's in a better place than you. His life appears to be doing better than yours. So you're going to believe them based off a few trinkets. You're going to believe them based off their position in life. You're going to believe them over God because it looks like they're doing well in life because they have something that you may not have right now. No, you're not. You better not. Because if you do, you ain't never gonna make it. But if you believe God, you're always gonna make it. And that's true. You thought you lost it all, but now you see
Lost it all.
That you have God inside of me. You have God inside of you, man. You have God inside of you, ladies. So why are you going to believe? Why are you going to believe what somebody else is saying? Why, like people really think that what they say holds weight, and they don't even believe in themselves. These are the soothsayers, all right? These are the people that are trying to convince you not to believe in the God in you. These are people who don't believe in God. If they did, they would be trying different things. And it's nothing wrong with going about things the way you want to go about it. But the thing is, they want to put you down because you're going about it a different way. So don't focus on what God is giving everyone else. Pay close attention to what the Father is doing for you. What God is doing for them, maybe they need that. What God is doing for them, maybe that's how their life is supposed to go. Maybe that's what their life is supposed to entail. But everybody is not meant to do the same thing. If it was, we'd have no successful people. We'd have no people that made any impact on life. We'd have no people who reached a mark that they set for themselves. All the successful people that you read about in books, all the successful people's stories that you hear about, that you research about, that you look up about, they wouldn't exist. All the successful people would not exist if they played it safe. And I have nothing against anybody that plays it safe, but it always seems like there are some people out there who play it safe that have something against the people who go about things in an unconventional way. You're allowed to do things however you want. All right, imagine people making rap music. Nobody's gonna buy that. Who's gonna want to listen to that?
That's what everybody told me. Everybody told me, girl, you think you can rap? Oh, you ain't Nicki Minaj. Oh, you ain't that person, even though I was rapping before Nicki Minaj and doing a lot of the innovative things she was doing before she was doing it, and could actually rap, and I actually had them skills. But everybody, oh, you ain't this. I was even wearing that different color hair before she was. And I honestly think that she started wearing that different color hair, that transformed the whole world to wearing different color hair because of me, honestly. Y'all don't know this story. I might have said it once on my channel, but I was at a Drake concert and I was doing Project Reach the World. Y'all know Project Reach the World is all my art forms. I need to be drawing, using all my art forms to get through all my dark storms. So I use my spoken word, my art, my rap. Back then I was grinding. This was the early 2000s. I didn't have a promotional team. I could never get like a few, like they had street teams back then, people passing out they flyers. I never had flyers because I didn't have that money for promotion. I never had the t-shirts until I started hand painting my own t-shirts for my street team, which was a few of my family members or whatever. But I never had all of that. But I was doing Project Reach the World where I would do all this artwork, where I would make these crazy hair pieces, crazy eye attention, eye grabbing hair pieces. I have to, you have to go watch that, what is Project Reach the World. I will link that in the description box, and that will show you everything you need to know. I had these crazy hair pieces that would catch people's attention from the stage. These artists were seeing me from the stage. And then they would ask, I would throw up a piece of artwork on the stage. So they'll see my artwork, plus they'll see my crazy hair piece. And then they want to know, who am I? What are you doing? Who is this? And I remember people that I was at a Drake concert, and Drake's people came down from behind backstage. They had the little backstage access tags on. They came out to the audience. And they was like, oh my gosh, can I take a picture of your hair? Because you are a true Drake fan. And I said, sure, because I thought, hey, that was going to help my promotion, because it had my little MySpace on it. It had where you could find my Project Reach the World. I thought it was going to help me. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You could take a picture. And I knew, of course, they were taking the picture to go take it back to Drake so he could see this, right? And many times I did end up backstage with these people, but that time I didn't get it to Drake or whatever. And I promise you, right after that, that's when Nicki Minaj, if anybody remembers Nicki Minaj, she came out wearing all black hair. I promise you, right after that, she started having all this different color hair. And I even had this homegirl. And y'all know I'm a licensed cosmetologist. Unfortunately, I can't practice because I have carpal tunnel. My hands, for every talent I have another. It's like the superheroes, how they have their superpowers, but they always have that thing that just, breaks them down. So carpal tunnel breaks me down, right? So because of that, I couldn't pursue my cosmetology career, whatever. But it was this hair book, and I promise I was out there rapping. I would be designing my own costumes, my own hair and stuff. And I had pictures I had taken and put on MySpace. And I remember I used to work overnight at a theme park. I'm sorry, not in the theme park. That's the second time I worked overnight. I worked overnight at Walmart. And I remember I would be on my grind. I would be performing at the door. I would have my demo around my neck. Everybody was like, dang, you gonna make it one day. You gonna make it. And I remember one day going on my last break, I would like to go read the magazines that was in the little book nook area. And I found this magazine, and I promise you, it had Nicki Minaj all through the hair magazine with all these different colored hairs and different styles and stuff. And I took it to my friend and I said, what is this? What is this? And she said, I don't know. That's you with some boobs, Keita. And I'm like, I said, yes, this is me. This is me. And she was like, yeah, that girl looked just like you. And I promise you, I had already, when I was known around my town, Cadillac, I was rocking that all green wig before she was. And I know that Lil' Kim had did it. That's why I tried to do a different spin on it. And I promise you, it wasn't until after that I started seeing Nicki Minaj wearing all that stuff. So I honestly, in my deep down heart of hearts, believe I influenced that. But everybody gonna tell you, oh yeah, whatever, you just a hater. See, you become a hater when you know, like even when I was in cosmetology school, half of those styles they were doing, people used to crowd around me in school to try to find out how am I doing what I'm doing. I was supposed to be great. This is why I don't understand why I'm still just bringing food to the table. Like, I don't get it. People were copying things I was doing, and I promise you, to this day, I see it out there on the market. I didn't get a dime off of it, but that is my stuff, and I know it. But they told me my stuff wasn't good enough, but yet the world is basically doing what I was doing, but they just don't know the creator of it. They don't know that I did that first. They give the credit to who is out and famous.
Here's the deal. Being unforgettable,
like for real. All right, you standing on the corner with a Kango hat and some glasses, and you spinning on your back to a break beat. Who's gonna want to be interested in that? The whole entire world. The whole entire world. The whole entire world. You have to look at the way things went for people who believed in themselves, and you gotta trust and believe that something can happen for you too. Look at all the successful people out there, y'all. If something happened good for them, something can happen good for you, even down to the people who are doing things conventional, even down to the people who want to put you down for not doing what they do. Something clicked for them, something happened for them, even though it's on that level. Guess what? Just because it's on a higher level, look at it the same way. Just because it's on a higher level doesn't mean anything. If something good can happen for anyone, that means something good can happen for you if you believe. According to your belief, so be it unto you. If you believe that something can happen for you, it's going to happen for you. If you believe that you can be successful, you're going to be successful. And I'm not going to stop saying that because it's the truth. The truth is the truth. You want me to believe a lie? People want you to believe a lie so they can feel comfortable about their life and the decisions that they made and the choices that they made for themselves. Yeah, come on, be like me, do what I did. Leave all that great stuff behind. All right, you're gonna be broke. You're not gonna make it. You're gonna be miserable. You're gonna be unhappy. It's not gonna work out for you like you think. Why is that? Because it didn't work out for you like you thought, and you gave up. See, the thing is, the reason why people play it safe is because they don't want to see you make it when they didn't make it. When they jumped out there on that limb and they didn't make it, or if they didn't even try, but they wanted to. So because you didn't try, of course you're not gonna make it. That was advice that T.I. gave me. I remember when I was doing my project Reach the World, and I had sent some artwork of mine up to T.I. And T.I., I had asked him, like, you know how you say you always knew you was gonna make it, but did you ever get discouraged? Like, was there ever times that you was like, this music thing just ain't gonna work? Maybe I got to go back to the streets or whatever. And what he told me, he was like, if you get up and try, there's a possibility that you can make it. He said, but if you don't give up, if you don't get up and try, there's no possibility you're not going to make it. It's decided already. And that was advice he gave. He was one of my first project, Reach the World. He gave me that advice years ago. So a lot of them are upset because they didn't even try. So to see you out there with the guts to even try, they definitely don't want to see you make it. They definitely don't want to see me make it. And the rule of success. They don't understand that you fail 1,000 times before you get a success. They're not willing to fail that many times. They can't endure failure.
And get back up.
You were made to endure failure because you were made to be successful. Whatever comes along with success, you was made for it. Whatever comes along with success, you was built for it. You don't care how people look at you. You don't care how people perceive you. You don't care. You do not care how somebody looks at you and how you're choosing to live your life. And the thing is, you have to stay strong in that. All right, sometimes there's self-doubt. Sometimes
It is.
there are days where it seems like it's not
True.
going to work.
Yes.
All right, your mind starts to wonder. That's why you got to stay strong in faith. God says, stay steadfast in your faith. You have to stay steadfast in your faith, because if not, you're going to start to focus on what everybody else got going on, and you're not going to be lifted.
Okay. Guys, so this is the outline. I'm going to fix it up a little bit. So this was kind of challenging because I was trying to figure out how to do this. Ooh, the reason I'm doing this in my bathroom is because I have the little Bluetooth radio in the shower, girls. That's really the only reason. Y'all know I usually go to the park. Y'all know I usually go to the park and I set up and I use the speaker over my phone to play the video while I draw. But I'm having issues with both of my devices playing, so I had to do it in the house today. But it is kind of difficult being able to let you see what I'm doing, how to position myself to where, because you know, when I was doing my lives from my daughter's house, I would be able to set it up where I would be sitting at the table and I could kind of position the camera over where you could see me working in a natural state, like sitting naturally. But right now I'm trying to kneel down to do this and it's not working that great, but girl, it did what it did, girl. But this is the outline. I'm going to fix it up some. And then we're going to get back to drawing it in and we'll continue this review of this video in a little later from now. All right, guys, thank you for being with your girl Cadillac. Even if it sounded like it was a rant, even at times when it sounded like I was up, sometimes it sounded like I'm down. Y'all have been riding with your girl no matter what, and I want to thank you for that. All right, y'all, it's your girl Cadillac.